Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the West Virginia University Health Sciences PhD Research Induction and Awards Ceremony. My name is Julie Lockman. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Graduate Education at the Health Sciences Center. Please join me in welcoming our participating doctoral students. Okay, you all can be seated. Before we begin with the formal ceremony, I would like to recognize the entire team in the Office of Research and Graduate Education, the faculty and the staff that are here. If you'll please stand if you have a role in the Research and Graduate Education Office, and up here, out here. We're really pleased to be able to put this event on, and it really would not be able to take place without all the great support. Logan and the rest of you who are not standing. Thank you very, very much. Including our fearless leader, Dr. Ming Lei, Senior Associate Vice President for Research and Graduate Education. I also want to recognize the deans of our health sciences schools who were able to make time to join us today. We have first, seated on stage, we have Dr. Clay Marsh, Chancellor and Executive Dean for Health Sciences. We have Dr. Eric Carlton, Senior Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs for the School of Public Health. We have Dr. Bill Petros up here on stage, Gates Wigner Dean of the School of Pharmacy. And I believe Dr. Sarah Woodrum, Senior Associate Dean for Administration for the School of Public Health. Okay. Additionally, we're fortunate to have numerous faculty serving as graduate program directors, a critical role in supporting our students in their research journey. Will all of our PhD graduate program directors present today please stand to be recognized? Thank you very much. And you'll see their names listed in your program. We also want to recognize the Health Sciences Center department chairs present today. They provide critical support to our graduate students, faculty, and programs. Any department chairs present today, please stand to be recognized. Lastly, we want to extend our sincere appreciation to Gina Slagenhoop and the staff in the Office of Alumni Affairs, and again to Logan Miller and the staff in the Office of Research and Graduate Education. One more thing before we begin the formal ceremony, I just want to ask you all to join me in a moment of silence for one of our health sciences PhD students, Scott Saylor, who we lost this summer. Scott was a friend to several students in the audience today and a colleague to many of our students and faculty. He is very much missed. So thank you for joining me in honoring him by a moment of silence. All right, thank you. Today's research induction and awards ceremony marks the entry of our graduate students into the research training phase of their education. In the next few years, they will learn the skills necessary to pose research questions and make discoveries that will culminate in their doctoral dissertation. Audience members, your role as friend and support system will intensify. And for many of you, it will be a tricky role at times. When things go wrong, as they inevitably do in research, lend an ear and be a supportive listener. At first, you may not understand the research itself, but ask your friend or loved one to explain it to you in a way that any of us can understand. You will almost certainly hear about frustrations when things don't work out. At these times, try to help the student remember why they started this journey in the first place. And at times of uncertainty, remind them of the challenges that they've already overcome and their commitment to making a difference through their science. Today, we provide each student with a white lab coat that serves as a symbol of research. For many students, the lab coat serves to protect their clothing from many things. And trust me, you do not want to track those things around with you. So you'll want to leave it in the lab. For others, the white coat symbolizes professionalism, integrity, and a commitment to excellence in one's chosen research discipline. We hope that all of you wear your coats proudly and that your pursuits are plentiful, gratifying, and impactful. As a token of support, our Health Sciences PhD alumni have provided words of encouragement to each of you that you should find in one of the pockets in your lab coat. So you should have a special message there from one of our alums. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Ming Lei for some additional comments.
Not one of today's awards, but please really concern somebody stepped on. So, thank you, Julie. Good afternoon, everyone. Doctor, student, families, and friends of our students, faculty, and staff. Thank you so much for joining us to celebrate a new cohort of graduate students start of dissertation research. After this point, you will be able to focus more of your effort or attention to research that directly leads to your PhD degree. Congratulations for achieving this important milestone in your journey toward your PhD degrees. And congratulations, and please stand up and receive a well-earned round of applause, please. Thank you. The research induction ceremony is a unique tradition at the WVU Health Science Center, and it doesn't exist in many other institutions. And we have generations of graduate education leaders at HSC, not including me, to thank for creating and developing this tradition, which invites our doctoral students as well as the rest of us here to savor the moment and ponder what does it excuse me, what entering dissertation research at this time at this moment means to our graduate student. I would like to share a few simple thoughts, and simple thoughts are the only things I can share. And first of all, I think it means opportunity. You are entering the first research intensive phase of your career at a very exciting time when the pace of scientific discovery is unprecedented and still accelerating. Health-related information has been generated at an explosive pace. By at least one count or one measure, medical knowledge is doubled once every 73 days. At the same time, technology has been advancing at a seemingly even faster pace, providing health researchers with powerful tools such as CRISPR, 3D printing, generative AI to ask questions in ways unimaginable only a few years ago. The combination of unprecedented richness in information and the power of technology presents unprecedented opportunity for scientific discoveries. Such opportunities are here on our campus as well. Our research teams are making breakthroughs treating addictions through neuromodulation, developing mRNA vaccines for cancer prevention, and exploring AI tools to improve diagnosis. Just name a few on our campus, right? So the timing is perfect for you to take advantage of these resources and opportunity to learn and to make discoveries. And yes, graduate students can make impact for discoveries. There are many, many examples, including Lobby when they made critical discoveries during their graduate tenure. And to look for good examples, you don't have to look very far. Just talk to your fellow graduate student a few years ahead of you. And I did that a few days ago when we had the baseball game. And you will see that many of them have published or about to publish their work in peer-reviewed journals. So by definition, that means their work or their discovery has expanded the collective knowledge base of human beings, and they're making significant discoveries. And one day, their discovery may turn out to improve human health. So we're looking forward to seeing your discoveries in a few years. Of course, opportunities comes with new challenges. You're going to run into many challenges. One of the most common ones that you sure will get run into is that sometimes the experiment you desperately need to work keeps failing. And when that happens to you, please remind yourself this has happened to many, almost, I should say not many, every brilliant scientist. And it even happened a few hundred times to Thomas Edison before that bulb lighted up. So be resilient, be persistent, and also, very importantly, please remember all of us here at HSC, along with your family and friends, are here to support you to overcome those challenges. And lastly, I want to say it also means that you are entering a professional relationship that may benefit throughout your career. You have selected and been accepted by a dissertation advisor who is going to be instrumental in guiding you towards the PhD degree. This individual could also turn out to be your lifelong champion. To be successful, we all need champions, right? And your sponsor, your collaborators, and could even be friend. So I would say this is one of the most important professional relationships that worth nurturing by both you and your advisor. So before I turn the podium to Dr. Hollander to introduce our keynote speaker today, I just want to wish you a very happy and a very productive training experience at the Health Science Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Ming, and good afternoon to everybody. Today, I have the very great pleasure of introducing our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Tara Croston. Dr. Croston is a research biologist in the Health Effects Laboratory Division at the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health in NIOSH. And this is our in Morgantown. Currently, she serves as a team lead for the occupational allergy team. In 2013, Dr. Croston obtained her PhD in our exercise physiology program here at West Virginia University, during which she conducted research on mitochondrial dysfunction and diabetic cardiomyopathy under the guidance of myself. who I also consider Tara a friend. Since joining NIOSH, Dr. Croston has dedicated the past 10 years to conducting research in the field of allergy and immunology. Her primary research focus includes studying the immunotoxicological responses to fungal exposure, collaborating closely with the National Toxicology Program and the National Institute for Environmental Health Sciences. Additionally, her team collaborates with scientists across various disciplines to investigate pulmonary immunological responses to nanoparticles, metalworking fluids, and occupational dusts. Throughout her tenure at NIOSH, Dr. Croston has mentored graduate students and postdocs while also serving as a co-investigator on multiple federally funded projects. She is an author on over 90 peer-reviewed publications, book chapters, and abstracts, and actively serves on both institutional and organizational committees. As an advocate for public health, she continues to explore new avenues within immunotoxicology, striving to uncover further insights that will ultimately contribute to safeguarding human health from environmental and occupational exposures. Please help me welcome today Dr. Tara Croston to the podium to share her thoughts and her experiences with us.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you very much to the School of Medicine and to XFIS for inviting me here to address you today. Dr. Hollander, that was very nice of you. You did not have to say that. I'm sorry they made you. So when I got this invite, I was asked to come up with some encouraging words. So I sat down to make a list, and it's blank. I'm just kidding. I will get to that later. So as Dr. Hollander said, my name's Tara Croston. I work as a research biologist at NIOSH right down the hill. It was a long venture here. I sat in the same seat you are sitting in about 15 years ago. You feel old? Yeah. Yep. I had just gone through a challenging year of classes, but it was with a great group of friends. I had just finished all of my rotations and chose a lab, but I was nervous in picking the right one. Choice is a buzzword that I'd like to come back to throughout this talk. It is a recurring yet critical word that is encountered in all of life's aspects. A rear view perspective that I would like to give you of certain things that I learned during grad school. Classmates and lab mates, they are extremely important. And again, this comes back to the word choice. Picking a lab, to me, is sometimes more important than the research itself. That lab, your classmates, your friends, they're going to be your support system that help get you through this wonderful experience you're about to have. The lifelong friends that you're going to have throughout, well, that you're going to gain by doing what you do and by picking the lab that you pick, you can't, there are no words to describe how important and great of a feeling that is. If it weren't for the lifelong friends that I have from this experience, I wouldn't have been invited. Thank you, Durendra, to do this. So really appreciate and take notice what you have around you and hold that till the very end. I think it's very important to say too, again, rear view perspective, to learn the science. Take time to learn that science. There was a critical moment for me when I was working in lab, and actually the person who told that to me is in this room today. He told me that there's a difference between following a protocol and understanding the science and using that science as knowledge to think outside the box, that's what makes you a PhD candidate. And that really resonated with me through my career today. Also, take the time to read and write. I heard that when I was sitting in your seat. I hate reading, and I was like, that's just not something I really want to do. But it's so important because as much as science is changing, as you stated earlier, it's very important to stay on top of everything. Be accountable. Conduct good science, and then be comfortable and confident in yourself when you put that solid science out there to the world. Remember, it's about quality and not quantity. I really wish that supervisors and the higher ups were here to hear this, because it's something that I face every day. Your progress is based on the number of papers you put out, but what's really important is the quality of that science. And that's hard when you're dealing with pressures from your supervisors or from funding agencies that want to show progress or want to see the progress that you're making. But remember, you have to answer for your work. So make sure it's good when you put it out there. Very importantly, learn how to communicate. You need to be able to go out there and talk about your science. It's just as important as conducting the science and accurately interpreting the data, but it's easy to state results. It's harder to go out there and get someone to understand why your science is so important. You need to have that ability to communicate at all levels. From a lay person, someone not in science, your friend, from home, you want to be able to describe your science to them just in the same way that you could describe your science to a lawmaker, to a funding agency, or to a scientific community. Communication is a skill set, and it can be developed every day. I'm still developing that skill set. What I took with me when I left WVU was, again, friendship, lifelong and prosperous friendships. A close example of that is a very dear friend that I'm close with since grad school. I met in grad school. She was an integral part of getting me the job that I have now. I wouldn't have been able to do that if it weren't for her. And I think it's important to take note that this networking is, it's going to help you after you leave here. And so I know we've talked about this before, that I've mentioned the friendships, and I met with a couple of you earlier, and a lot of people ask about the trajectory, how I got where I am today. And people don't like to hear luck, but if I had to give an answer, I would say networks and the friendships. Pay attention to a good work-life balance. So grad school is challenging, but it's a great opportunity to build your scientific skill set and expand your knowledge base. Choose a career that has a good balance. Now, I work a lot, and my science mind doesn't stop. I might leave my computer at work, I might leave the paperwork at work, but your mind never really stops. But I do try to remember that you're replaceable at work. You're not replaceable at home. So, especially with the mental health focus that's going on now too, it's very important that you really try to think about a good work-life balance, especially when you leave here. There are many different career options out there, such as industry, academia, and government. Take time learning what's out there so you really you end up in a place where you're happy, and that you, again, back to that buzzword, the choice. You make that choice to be in an environment that has the same priorities as you do. You want to go to a lab where you don't, if you want to go to a lab, but you want to choose a career or a job where you don't feel like it's not your second home, because you're there more than you are actually home. I chose to conduct research at a federal agency, but I chose to do it with a team and an environment that fit me. I wouldn't still probably be standing here today having worked for government if I wasn't in the team and the division that I am. My supervisors, the leadership, as well as my team, we all have the same priorities. And that is in terms of interests as much as it is in terms of things that are most important to you, like family. Through this, I have also learned to shoot high and promote myself. I am not a person that likes to promote myself. But someone once told me the worst you can hear is no. And then when I started doing that, doors started opening. Like I said, I went with my gut and I chose a lab with the research that was very well out of my wheelhouse. So I was in Dr. Hollander's lab. You know, I did research with diabetic cardiomyopathy. And then when I went to NIOSH, I switched to immunology. Not easy at all. And I've told a couple people earlier, if I had to hear the word cytokine one more time my first week, I was going to jump out the window. But I'm still working on it. We're still doing fine. I'm still here. I did not walk into my postdoc with a 10-year plan. The other postdoc that I worked with at the time, he did have a 10-year plan, and it almost intimidated me, like I didn't have my life put together. Well, I don't have my life put together, and I never had a 10-year plan, but doors open and you just choose which one to walk through. My team lead was promoted right before COVID. And when I say right before COVID, days before we shut down for COVID. That's when I was promoted to team lead. So suddenly I was team lead, a postdoc, because I still need to finish up my work. The other postdoc I was working with decided to also leave the exact same time. And so I needed to finish that work. And I also inherited a graduate student, which ended up being everything ended up working out, and picking up that mentorship was an amazing experience. Now, doing that, it was challenging. It was very challenging and scary. It is still challenging, but also rewarding. I know the word challenge sounds like it's a bad thing, but it really doesn't have to be. A challenge allows you to take the bull by the horns. It allows you to grow as a scientist and as a person. So it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. I know we also mentioned about science isn't supposed to work the first time. If it does, you didn't do it right. It's not going to work the first time, and that's okay. That's how you grow as a scientist, figuring it out. You know, not reading the manual, but understanding the science to where you can troubleshoot and you can figure it out. When you do that, that is so much more rewarding than something just working because everyone knew it would. I do want to say that my team, we do have our hands in a lot of research pots. So we work with exposures from nanoparticles to cannabis or hemp dust, to mold, which is my primary focus. But this research has really given me the opportunity to collaborate with other groups. And that's been an amazing experience because, you know, I'm still being mentored by people, scientists in those groups. So to be able to collaborate, that's also how we've been able to, you know, receive funding. That's where we've been able to put our work out there when you have multiple teams working on it. So the collaboration aspect of the work we do has just, it's been phenomenal and really integral into the science that we do. I've also been able to speak to different audiences. You know, everyone goes and they speak to people who come to see your poster at a scientific conference. I've also been able to present to people in a seminar setting at conferences, but I've also been able to speak to people, high profile people. So I've been able to speak to the Assistant Secretary of Health, to NTP program, to congressmen, to other governmental agencies. And I say be able to, I mean, that take that loosely, because I never will get used to public speaking. And Dr. Hollander and I were talking about this, and I think he's realized that 15 years later, it, all the talking experiences that I have been presented, it's still nerve-wracking. My voice quivers, my hands shake. That's why I'm standing behind the podium, and that's okay. But take these opportunities now, because I wouldn't have at least been, you know, decently okay and being able to survive the panic attacks beforehand if I didn't have the opportunities to do that in this program. It's also given me the opportunity to mentor, which I really do enjoy doing that. So I told you I would revisit the encouraging words. And I know when you go to a lot of keynote speakers, they have, a famous person that left with this, really amazingly profound quote. But my quotes all come from my dad, and probably not so appropriate for this audience. So I was just thinking about some things that were important and overall statements. So my thoughts are that grad school is not easy, because if it were, everyone would do it. You have worked hard and gotten this far, which is why you are sitting here today. Believe in yourself. You are going to face challenges, but you can overcome them. We all have. I know getting here was not easy. You have already faced challenges, but you're here. So you're going to be able to persevere. Don't sweat the small stuff. This step in your career is for learning and for growing. Perfection does not have a space here. And I am telling you this because I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing, but I do not follow these rules all the time. If I did, it would really help me. Remember, you can't do everything or answer every question. That is the bad part about the science rabbit hole. I mean, you can come up with all these questions. Don't worry about answering all of them. Focus on what is needed, what you need to do at that time, not necessarily what you want or Joe Schmo wants. Focus on what's needed, make a list, prioritize, and you will get through it. So congratulations on reaching this milestone, and I truly wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, Dr. Croston. That was so authentic. And I really think wonderful, wonderful words of advice, words of wisdom and encouragement for sure. So we're now going to transition to the coding ceremony. I know what you all have been waiting for. Maeve, can you go ahead and come up? So it's tradition that the graduate student organization leadership announces the names of the students to be coded in this ceremony. So the president of the organization is off at a conference presenting his research, which is great for him. So we have Maeve Morris, who's the graduate student organization vice president. She's going to handle this all on her own today and do a great job. So she's a third-year student in the immunology and microbial pathogenesis program. Maeve, the podium is all yours. Students in the first row, if you will please stand, and we will begin the ceremony.
All right, we will begin with the School of Medicine doctoral programs. We'll begin with biochemistry and molecular biology. Program directors are Dr. Aaron Robart, Dr. Saru Kalandevalu, and Dr. Brad Webb. Kristen Haggerty, coded by Dr. Mike Robichaux. AJ Holmes, coded by Dr. Vishy Ramamurthy. Muhammad Kamrul Islam, coded by Dr. David Smith. Holly Schultz, coded by Dr. Aaron Robart. For the Cancer Cell Biology Department, program directors are Dr. Ed Pistilli and Dr. Lori Hazelhurst. Brianna Hott, coded by Dr. Scott Weed. Vincent Wu, coded by Dr. Lori Hazelhurst. Cellular and Integrative Physiology. Program directors are Dr. Stan Heilman, Dr. Scott Levick, and Dr. Robert Brock. Angela Lemons, coded by Dr. Tara Croston. Yulu Lee, coded by Dr. Salak Hussein. Callie Schaffner, coded by Dr. Scott Levick. Immunology and Microbial Pathogenesis. Program director is Dr. Corey Robinson. Spencer Dublin, coded by Dr. Mariette Barbier. Annalisa Huckabee, coded by Dr. Mariette Barbier. Travis Rawson, coded by Dr. Corey Robinson. From the Neuroscience Graduate Program, program directors are Dr. Bernie Shrews and Dr. Zach Weil. Caitlin Boehner, coded by Dr. Charlie Anderson. Rachel Lee, coded by Dr. Michelle Bridey. Lindsay Moray, coded by Dr. Morgan Bridey. Pathophysiology, Rehabilitation, and Performance. Program directors are Dr. John Hollander and Dr. Durendra Thapa. Hafsat Aliber, coded by Dr. John Hollander. Now for doctoral programs within the School of Nursing. From the Nursing PhD program, Program Director Dr. Roger Carpenter. Parker Rohrbaugh, coded by Dr. Brad Phillips. We now recognize students from the School of Pharmacy. Pharmaceutical and Pharmacological Sciences. Program directors are Dr. Werner Gildenheis and Dr. Ahmad Hanif. Olivia Carpenter, coded by Dr. Paul Lockman. Dominic Sasala, coded by Dr. Werner Gildenheis. Claymore Gumbo, coded by Dr. Zach Weil. Jury Hoda, coded by Dr. Vishy Ramamurthy. Kenesha McDonald, coded by Dr. Bing Lee. From the School of Public Health, from the Epidemiology Graduate Program, Program Director is Dr. Ranjita Misra. Brianne Nichols, coded by Dr. Tyler Quinn. Occupational and Environmental Health Sciences. Program Director is Dr. Ranjita Misra. Nafisa Issa, coded by Dr. Michael McCauley. Mana Mutairi, coded by Dr. Michael McCauley. And finally, from the Benjamin M. Statler College of Engineering and Mineral Resources, Biomedical Engineering, Hassan Al-Kadrawi. Oh, sorry, coded by Dr. Manny Brenowitz. Kokeb Gebremeskel, coded by Dr. Maggie Brenowitz. Caitlin Heinzelman, coded by Dr. Mariah Catt. This one? Sarah Herbert, coded by Dr. Mariah Catt. Candice Dancy, coded by Dr. Mariah Catt. Alrighty, please join me in congratulating our students. The Ethical Affirmation for Scientists was written by WVU School of Medicine faculty members Drs. Robert Craig, Ann Cather, and James Culbertson, and published in the prominent journal Science in 2003. It refers to biomedical and health scientists across all disciplines, and especially those whose research impacts our health and well-being, whether the target is a single molecule or a large data set evaluating population health outcomes. As you continue your research, it is appropriate for you to take a few minutes and contemplate some of the ethical demands you may encounter during your career. You may be faced with conflicts of interest, as well as other situations that require decisions of an ethical nature. The ethical affirmation you are about to repeat represents what you should strive for throughout your career. You have already signed your name to show your commitment to conducting research that is of the highest standards. You will now repeat the affirmation aloud together. At this time, would the PhD students please stand? We also invite all scientists in the audience to stand and repeat the ethical affirmation along with our students. All right, please repeat after me. As I embark on my career as a research scientist, I willingly pledge that I will honorably represent my scientific profession, that I will conduct my research and my professional life in a manner that is always above reproach, and that I will seek to incorporate the body of ethics and moral principles that constitute scientific integrity into all that I do. I will strive always to ensure that the results of my research and other scientific activities ultimately benefit humanity and that they cause no harm. With this affirmation, I pledge to acknowledge and honor that the contributions of scientists who have preceded me to seek truth and the advancement of knowledge in all my work, and to become a worthy role model, deserving of respect by those who follow me.
All right, so congratulations. You have your coats. At this time, we're going to recognize and celebrate some of our doctoral students who have made outstanding achievements and contributions during the 2023-2024 academic year, several of whom received national recognition. So the complete list you'll find in your program. And so today we're going to mention those who received national recognition and some of the recognition or awards from our office. So I'm going to read the name and accomplishment for those that receive national recognition, at which time I'll ask them to come to the stage to receive a certificate and to have a photo with Dr. Clay Marsh and Dr. Lay and their school dean as well. So today we want to recognize those students, starting with the national recognition. We have Angisha Basnet. Is Angisha here? Let's make sure she's here. Okay, here she comes. All right, so Angisha is a fourth-year immunology and microbial pathogenesis student. Her mentor is Dr. Tracy Liu. This is in recognition of her American Association of Immunologists Young Investigator Award, Best Oral Presentation at the Translational Research Cancer Centers Consortium. She also this year received the Health Sciences Center International Fellowship Award. Next, we have Robin Elkins. Robin is a second-year nursing student. This is in recognition of being appointed as a Jonas Scholar from the American Association of College of Nursing. Next, we have Sarah Starkovich, third-year biochemistry and molecular medicine student. Her mentor is Dr. Aaron Robart. This is in recognition of her Margaret C. Etter Top Student Lecture Award at the American Crystallographic Association 2024 meeting. All right, Kent Marshall. Is Kent here? Okay. Okay, so we'll just recognize Kent. It doesn't look like he's here. He is a clinical and translational science MD PhD student. His mentor is Dr. Wayman Gao, and he was appointed as a 2024 research scholar for the Neurosurgical Society of the Virginias. So congratulations to Kent. Okay. Each year, our Office of Research and Graduate Education accepts nominations recognizing graduate students for their leadership, service, and commitment to Mountaineer values. These nominations are from their peers and faculty colleagues, and it's a competitive process. We're pleased to share this year's winners with you. They were originally awarded during Graduate Student Appreciation Week this past spring, but we want to publicly acknowledge them here. Crystal Hughes. Is Crystal here? Crystal may not be here. She's a fourth-year pharmaceutical and pharmacological sciences student. Her mentor is Dr. Sharon Bobola. She's in the School of Pharmacy, and she received the Outstanding Service Award. Okay. Sarah Deem. Here's Sarah. So Sarah is a recent graduate with her master's in exercise physiology, and she received the Outstanding Mountaineer Values Award. And Samantha Thompson. Samantha is a biochemistry and molecular medicine PhD student. Her mentor is Dr. Mike Robichaux, and Samantha received the Outstanding Leadership Award. Okay. And one more person to recognize, Studi. Are you here, Studi Kodka? Okay, Studi, come on down. She received the American Association of Immunologists Young Investigator Award Best Abstract at the Autumn Immunology Conference in 2023. Studi just recently defended her dissertation, and so she's a new PhD. And now I want to present Dr. Kristen, our speaker, with the gift of appreciation for being here and sharing her time and her words of wisdom with us. So, we really appreciate you all coming this evening. To all of our student scientists, a warm congratulations to you. It's really exciting to be here with you now, and we all look forward to seeing you 5 years and then 10 years from now, carrying that mountaineer spirit with you wherever you choose to go. Congratulations again. We wish you the best in the remainder of your graduate education path. And now I want to invite Dr. Clay Marsh to the podium to provide some brief remarks and close out the ceremony for us.
So I was told to try to limit my remarks to 30 minutes or so. I'm kidding. So congratulations. Thank you, faculty, mentors, Office of Research and Graduate Education for the incredible work that you do, not just today. This is a beautiful recognition, but really the work that you do every day. And having an opportunity to do research, to me, is like being really good at baking and cooking. So baking is chemistry. You got to follow a recipe. And if you don't follow the right recipe, the cake or the bread doesn't do so well. But cooking is very creative, where you can add things together until they taste better or they taste good, hopefully. And so you're learning both. You're learning the technical skills to be able to bake, but you're also learning the creative skills that it takes to cook. And we are sitting in this auditorium, which is right outside of our Health Sciences Museum. And it's the museum that was dedicated to one of our faculty members who's died, Bill Neal. But one of the quotes that we have in the museum, which is one of my favorite quotes, is by Jonas Salk. And the quote is, "Hope lies in the dreams and innovations that some people have." Wait a minute, try it again. Nope. Hope lies in the dreams, I'm blocking on it. Anyway, it's right outside and you can walk outside and see it. Hope lies in the dreams, the inspirations, and the courage of those that dare to make those dreams a reality. And parents, we are so proud of the students and spouses and friends. But I'd like a show of hands of all of the family members in the audience. How many are proud of their students? Keep them up, keep them up, keep them up. How many understand the project their students are working on? We are proud of all of you. So I have some instructions, but I don't, because I know that you guys are waiting to see your students and to celebrate. We do have a beautiful museum upstairs. For the students, don't be, as you got a lot of advice, don't be distressed if things work out different than you think. And I'll tell my only story and then we'll be done and we'll get everybody out and we'll celebrate. So I had a research lab for many years at the place I was before I came back to West Virginia. And I had a great technician who was very, very responsible. And we set up a series of experiments and she did these experiments. And I walked back up and I said, "How did it go?" And she goes, "The data is terrible." And I said, "The data is terrible. You know, data is just information. It's not good or bad." Remember in Hamlet, Shakespeare said, "There is nothing good or bad. It is only thinking that makes it so." So I said, "What's bad about the data?" And she said, "It was completely the opposite of what we thought." And so I said, "Well, is it reproducible?" So she went back and did it again and again. And in fact, it was reproducible. And that single piece of information turned out to be the best thing we ever did in our laboratory, bar none. And so after a while, I'd come up later and I'd say to her, I said, "Well, how did the experiments go?" "The data is very good, very good." And I said, "Well, why is it really good?" She goes, "Just the opposite of what we thought." So anyway, if you follow the data, you're never going to be wrong. So we're going to ask you guys to stay because we're taking some pictures and we'll invite everybody else to join us in the pylons area for some refreshments. And so if the rest of the audience can go, the students can stay. We will be out very soon and we'll all join together. Thank you guys so much for being here. They were another page back. I like blanked on that quote though. Like,
I thought you must be thinking about the great thing.
yeah, it was. I was just waiting for it. I was really with it.
Great job.